Hello and welcome to Bud's RPG Review, where I give my thoughts on role-playing games, card games and board games. Today's retro review is 1988's Troll Gods, the Deities of Darkness for RuneQuest 3rd edition by Chaosium. Okay, first a bit of history. Troll Gods is a box set that collects and details all of the major troll deities and includes full RuneQuest 3rd edition write-ups. The set expands on those contained in the Troll Pack set. The cover is an excellent depiction by Tom Sullivan of what I assume is a Spider Master Shaman of Eternia using the divine spell Spider Limbs. More on that later. The box set contains the following: a What's in the Box sheet, a map of Glorantha detailing the primary troll regions, the Johnson Compendium, and finally the Troll Cults book. Okay, first up is the Troll Cults book. The book is an 88-page one that contains details on the 15 most prominent troll gods. It also contains information on well-known spirits of darkness. First up is Anila. Anila is an ancient and mysterious goddess who is associated with the tides and secrets and has the runes of Luna, Darkness and Sea. Her cult is also widespread amongst humans who know her as Mother Anila and the Blue Moon. Trolls deem Anila so ancient that people can't even begin to understand her, and you cannot simply join the cult of Anila. The cult invites you to join. Priests of the Blue Moon are known to move in secret, incomprehensible paths in the darkness. Anila has the spirit magic spell Invisibility available to its cult, as well as the divine magic spells Conceal and Vision. Interestingly, Anila doesn't have a spirit of reprisal associated with her cult. It's either that or nobody has ever survived to tell the tale of meeting it. Next up is Eternia. Eternia is the goddess of all spiders and is associated with the runes of Beast and Darkness. The cult is also connected with Fate, which is, according to the cult itself, shaped like a spider's web. The cult is self-centered and doesn't associate with other cults, although it is usually friendly with Gorkiki, though the reverse is not always true. Spiders across the world worship Eternia, and the supreme leader of the cult of Eternia is a dark troll demigod called Crag Spider. All intelligent spiders are automatically considered initiates of this cult, and priests are known as Spider Masters, who glory in the spider as what they consider to be nature's most perfect invention. Skills associated with Eternia are related to net and net combat, as you would probably expect, and the cult has some fairly terrifying divine spells that transform worshippers' heads and limbs into that of a spider. The spirit of reprisal sees the guilty party pestered and attacked by all spiders in the future. Arganagar is the troll god of darkness and the son of the night goddess Zentha. Most commonly, he is associated with surface darkness, and the cult performs the important function amongst trolls as the god of trade. Arganagar has the runes of communication and darkness, and secondary runes of harmony and mastery. The cult is fairly widespread across the world, and is a fairly adaptable cult, and is on good terms with the cults of Isares, Etyres and Dormal, as well as the cult of Gorkiki. They're unfriendly with the solar pantheon. Non-trolls can be initiated into the cult of Arganagar, although they must be able to speak Darktongue. Divine spells associated with Arganagar are those that create shadows and seal passages. The spirit of reprisal of the cult is called Koth, and it will attack the victim's appearance stat. The cult are also responsible for minting the Bolg, the troll currency. Next up is Arcat. Arcat is widely regarded as the greatest mortal hero ever to be born. He is said to have birthed from his mother fully grown and turned to lavish her with praise. In his life he had many titles such as Arcat Chaosbane, Arcat Hero Quester and Arcat King Troll. When worshipped by trolls, his runes are darkness and magic, and Arcat provides trolls with the secrets of sorcery. Arcat's deeds are too many and varied to talk about here, and his cult makes humans nervous at the prospect of sorcerer trolls. Basco, or as he is more commonly known, the Black Sun, is next up. The Black Sun is considered to be Yelm, the sun god's spiritual shadow, described as the blind spot he can never see. He is considered the god of darkness, and as such is associated with runes of shadow and illusion. The cult's spells are mostly associated with blood and darkness, and includes a spell called Blood Feast, in which the priest cooks different species' body organs in order to gain various illusory powers. The spirit of reprisal of the cult of the Black Sun makes the betrayer's organs especially desirable and obvious to priests using the Blood Feast spell. Next up is Gorkiki, the goddess of all insects. This cult allows the domestication of insects and is popular amongst trolls. Gorkiki is associated with the runes of Beast and Darkness. The cult has the secrets of breeding and caring for insects. All intelligent insects worship Gorkiki in one way or another, and due to the great commercial value of insects amongst trolls, they wield great social power. The cult tends to have entire families as members rather than individuals. The head of the cult are shamans called imargos that deal with insect spirits. As you would expect, the skills and spells associated with Gorikiki are all to do with the care of insects, insect husbandry, and similar to Eternia, being able to partially transform into an insect and communicate with them. There are major subcults of Gorikiki that revolve around one particular type of insect, like locusts or bees, and their body transformation spells are centred around those. The spirit of reprisal of Gorikiki is a virulent pestilence of the cult's insects, which appears whenever it is the most inconvenient time. The cult is friendly with Arganagar and Cropa, the mother of arthropods, who is Gorikiki's mother. Himail, the god of cold, is next up. The cult is usually found in Arctic tundra, and as such, Himail is associated with the cold rune. All of Himail's cult spells are to do with ice and temperature. The spirit of reprisal is dependent on who has betrayed the cult. If it is the Holri or ice demons that have done so, they are subject to the warming effect, which causes them to melt. If it's a mortal, they slowly freeze them solid. The cult is friendly with Subir. The Great Mother Goddess is up next, Carlito. Carlito is worshipped by all trolls, and is considered the ancestress. Her runes are man and darkness. As one of the primary fighters against chaos, she has grudging acceptance amongst humans and troll haters. In fact, she is so important that occasionally humans join her cult. She is a staunch opponent of Lightbringer cults for many reasons. Worship of Carlito permeates all aspects of troll society, and the priesthood is matriarchal. The cult is led by a group of warriors called Karg's Sons. These fearsome warriors live by a strict set of cult rules, but are respected and honoured by the troll community. Carlito has interesting spells at her command like Counter Chaos, and there are a number of subcults that fall under the main one, like the hero cults of Gerak Kag, Stonebiter and Tree Chopper. Her spirit of reprisals are known as Grey Furies that resemble winged gargoyles. She has a good relationship with the cult of Dakafal, and also Subir and her children, Ziola Umbar and Zaraxaran, with fights breaking out between the latter and Karg's sons. Within this cult, they have a troll adoption ceremony where a non-troll can be transformed in a grisly ceremony to become a troll. Arkat's transformation is detailed first-hand in the Johnson Compendium. Mivarala, the goddess of fungus, is the next one. She is not considered a major goddess, and her main worshippers are the obscure black elves, and her main centres of worship are underground. The cult teaches spells that centre around decay. The spirit of reprisal is a spirit of rot that destroys all of the transgressor's food within one day. The cult is friendly with Flamal. This cult produces a number of strange fungal drinks and potions, including Agara Cream, which changes the drinker's sex, and Moskosko Potion, which allows the imbiber to exchange hit points for magic points. The following cult is that of Morgaki. Morgaki represents the hot trolls, i.e. those that live in the jungle. The god is friendly with other darkness gods, and is represented by the man and shadow runes, of which the shadow rune has a horizontal bar through it to represent darkness without cold. Although an important cult, it still plays second fiddle to Carlito. Morgaki's spirit of reprisal is called Kajaka, who steals power points instead of magic points. Subir, the god of hell darkness, the darkness that has never been pierced, is up next. Subir lives in the underworld, and worshippers seek the innermost mysteries or powers of darkness, and as such is the source of the darkness rune. She also has the magic rune. She's mainly worshipped by trolls, but also has worship amongst mermen. The temples are thought to contain tomes listing the names of individual spirits and demons. Subir is friendly with Himail, Zentha, and Carlito, who has the greatest respect for Subir. Zentha is detailed next. She is the protective goddess of the night, and as such has the runes of darkness and mastery. Zentha is worshipped by humans, but trolls worship her in her protective aspect. Her cult is extremely widespread, but also very small. She is associated with the cults of Subir and Arganagar. The healer goddess Ziola Umbar is up next. She is always referred to as the sister of Zaraxaran, and has the runes of darkness, harmony and fertility. Her priests are respected in troll communities as skilled healers and midwives, and she is a favourite of Carlito. She is also the protector of Trollkin. She preserves and heals the troll and trollkin race, and is traditionally known as a goddess that protects the weak and oppressed. She is also a firm opponent of chaos and most light powers, although she has a friendship with Yelm, who she comforted when he first fell to death. They oppose all who would harm those under their protection. Her cult teaches healing skills and spells, including the rune spell Kuvard, which transfers all the pains and sickness of troll pregnancy to the husband of the expecting mother for the duration of the pregnancy. The spirit of reprisal of the cult of Ziola Umbar is to withdraw her protection and incurring the eternal hatred of all associated cults, which includes, unfortunately for the apostate, Zaraxaran. As expected, Ziola is friendly with Carlito and her brother Zaraxaran. Ziola Umbar is both despised and loved by trolls for her care of the trollkin and her healing and defensive abilities respectively. Zong, the hunter god, is next. Zong is associated with the runes of death and harmony, and is generally worshipped by trolls as they live in a lifestyle of constantly hunting for food. Zong is mostly worshipped by what other trolls consider their primitive brethren. They are a cult of master hunters who can track and hunt anyone and anything. The cult has skills and spells that are centred around hiding, hunting and butchery. The spirit of reprisal gives the initiate a strong foul odour, which makes it impossible for them to sneak up on anything again without the aid of a strong wind. The last god listed is perhaps the most violent of all, Xeraxaran. Xeraxaran is the troll god of hate and vengeance, who is venerated amongst trolls as their war god. As such, Xeraxaran has the runes of darkness, death and disorder. As much as the world dislikes the fact, Xeraxaran was a fierce opponent of chaos. The cult has a fondness for slaughter and bloodshed and works well with other darkness deities. Xeraxaran has a particular hatred of Humact. Indeed, on their High Holy Night, cultists like to challenge lone Humacti and then gang up on them for an easy kill. The body is simply considered a tool to worshippers of Xeraxaran, and they expect to be turned into an undead upon death so that they can continue to fight. His temples are like military installations. The cult is led by the ultra-violent Death Lords who are merciless killers. Anyone who opposes the Death Lord must either beat them or die horribly. Xeraxaran's spells centre around healing, damaging and creating undead. They have a particularly nasty spirit of reprisal called the Hell Roar, which draws Xeraxaran cultists towards the transgressor to pay for their crimes. Unusually for a troll deity, they have the magical ability to summon salamanders. Xeraxaran is associated with Carlito, his sister Xiola Umbar, and fellow chaos fighter Stormbull. Worshippers dress in blood-red clothes, and there's an emphasis on bravery and fighting ingrained into the cult. The final section details the various spirits of darkness such as Azrelia, the Crone of the Deep, Boztakang, Chaos Fighter, and the twins Gore and Gash. We also have details on Karg and the Sky River Titan, which is worshipped at Skyfall Lake. Additionally, we have the spirits of Worms, Swems, and Vanikara the Hurler. The final few pages are around regional cult availability. Next up is the Johnson Compendium. The Johnson Compendium is a 28-page document that is presented to us as a facsimile of a sacred document from the vast archives of the God of Knowledge and Light, Lancor Mai. We are greeted by the following invocation on the cover. This is a sacred document of Lancor Mai, Lord of the Light and Knowledge. His blessings is upon all lore contained within. His might protects this work from evildoers, and his all-seeing eye will expose and plunder the secrets of any who defile, plagiarise, or suborn this citadel of truth. Within the compendium, we have various first-hand accounts by scholars of troll lore on troll religious ceremonies. The first up is a report by the scholar Geolgan, who gives information on Organagar, Anila, Eternia, Xeraxaran, Carlito and Xiola Umbar. There are details on Swems, Arcat and Zong, amongst others. It's extremely well written and would serve the game as an excellent reference point for DMs. For me, Troll Gods is a superbly put together piece of work with a few glaring faults. First up, I need to talk about the elephant in the room, the internal art. Quite frankly, for a professional publication, it's shocking. It's amateurish in the extreme, and how it got past anyone to make it to the book is quite frankly baffling. My second issue is with the write-up of Arcat. There's no mention whatsoever of him killing the illuminated god Nysalor, and they only touch on Gabaji briefly. When I discuss RuneQuest with other fans, they invariably end up talking about this, as it's such a superb part of the lore of Glorantha. These two issues aside though, Troll Gods is thoroughly enjoyable. I felt like I was peeling back layers of an onion to reveal wondrous knowledge below. As with most of these 3rd edition RuneQuest supplements, you get the feeling that this was a labour of love for the writers, and this shines completely throughout. In most cases, the write-ups are meticulous. This book is an excellent companion set to Troll Pack, who combine to breathe life into the Us. If you run RuneQuest, this book is a fantastic purchase that will only enrich your campaign, and it is my sincere hope that it is revisited and expanded in the upcoming new edition, because quite frankly, the intelligent, proud, strong RuneQuest trolls deserve it. I give Troll Gods an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to check out my other reviews. Bud out.